You don't know anything?
Yes, I do. Go ahead.
I would like to make a request on that note. We're gonna pray, have a prayer. Could we maybe invite some local clergy to come in and have a prayer?
Exactly.
That's fine. That way we can have different denominations.
That's great. No problem.
Okay, we had the meeting last minute.
Meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. on June 3rd by Mayor Norwood Foster with Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Norwood Foster stood and said a word of prayer. Minutes of last meeting were read by Clerk Tammy Williams and was approved with corrections. Motioned by Jackie Zimmers and seconded by Shirley Ashton. Unanimous by roll call. Treasurer's report and presentation of monthly bills were read and presented by Shelley Dodge. Shelley also asked about the two bills for the bids for a new flush hydrant that were advertised in the newspapers, one in Horton Headlight and one in the Hiawatha Daily World. Council did not approve these two bills to be paid. Motioned to pay regular monthly bills by Tracy Sharp and seconded by Sean Horton. Unanimous by roll call. Vicky Sheets read a letter about her and Barry's feelings about the city of Powhattan on how the city needed to be cleaned up. Vicky Sheets submitted a request of items to Treasurer Shelley Dodge about finances of bills for the city of Powhattan for the totals for the year 2023. Vicky was wanting to know as to what they were for and who they were paid to. She was also wanting to see receipts. Mayor Norwood Foster read a letter from Maximum Insurance LLC agent Stuart Mathewson. It was about Zombie Shoots being listed on the policy as a legal operator. This was never approved by council. We had some visitors from Legion Post 373. They were Dwayne Lloyd, Bob Hall, and Brad Andrews. They came to talk about the Legion back together. They would like the city to give a monetary donation to help out with the costs. Mayor Norwood Foster had stated he would like to stand by to see how much more help with finances they would need. Dwayne also handed each of the council and the mayor and the treasurer and clerk a copy of the new revised lease they had put together. There were a few changes to the new compared to the old lease. Sharon Willie stated she thinks the city ought to get a city attorney. Sean Horton stated that he would like to volunteer, put the Legion back together. His grandfather was in the military. Sean Horton stated about having a special meeting to discuss the new lease with an attorney's opinion. Motioned by Sean Horton and seconded by Jackie Zimmers. Unanimous by roll call. Sarah Gerving came to talk about match days for 2024. Mayor Norwood Foster asked about getting the keys and the codes to the city. The council did not approve the giving these items to him. On June 17th, there was a budget hearing for Treasurer Shelley Dodge to attend with Carol Brock at the Hiawatha Best Western 119 East Lodge Road at 6:15 p.m. Shelley Dodge would be bringing back a proposed 2023 budget for the council to look over and discuss what their feelings are. Motion to approve by Sharon Willie and seconded by Tracy Sharp. Unanimous by roll call. Tracy Sharp commented about getting a city attorney. Motion by Tracy Sharp and seconded by Sharon Willie. Unanimous by roll call. Tracy Sharp also mentioned about getting the codes of procedures approved. Mayor Foster tabled until July 1st, 2024 meeting. He needed time to review them. Motioned by Sean Horton and seconded by Tracy Sharp. Adjourned at 8:45 p.m. Motioned by Sean Horton and seconded by Tracy Sharp.
Any motion, any additions or corrections?
The budget is 2025, not 2026.
Sorry.
Yes. And on the statement there on June 17th, there was a meeting, or there should be, there will be a meeting,
Yes.
and that budget is for 2025.
So where do I need to make that correction? On June 17th. And it's what? There it will be, is that what I'm doing?
Yes. My fault, sorry.
You just like it wasn't you doing it. You have all kinds of scratched out places.
That's okay. I don't mind.
Okay, there's been a motion to approve the minutes as read with the corrections.
Motion.
Second. I took for it.
Sharon, you second it?
Yeah.
Sean.
I don't wanna get beat up.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. That's the treasurer's report.
Treasury report, clerk, I got 230.87, the city treasurer got 277.05, our energy streets was 342.54, our community hall, or Legion Hall, is 109.44. That was our regular, or our general, and our water, we have our wastewater operator was $100, our water operator was 200, our meter reader was 100, the lights, the barn was 26, pump house was 70.33. Our water was 172 units, and that was at 275.20. Our debt is 430. Other bills we had was Ag Partners for Fuel was 39.36. Joe turned on water for 15, and Roland did the lagoon and extensive facilities for 492.82.
What was that on the Legion?
The light bill,
Okay, how much was it?
109.44.
Okay.
I also have two bills I need to get approved. I have one from Luke for the EDMR for $50, and I also have one that where we got the nuts and bolts to replace the sign for $22.36 for elements.
Motion to pay bills. Second.
Wait a minute. I want clarification on that bill for Luke.
What is that?
What is that?
That's what,
Luke, can you explain your bill, please?
The electronic discharge monitoring report that the state requires for the lagoon system.
With what?
For the lagoon, it's an electronic discharge monitoring report that's required by the state to stay in compliance.
I thought,
Come away. Tell them to go away.
little fellows out there.
Yeah, it's my nieces and nephews.
Oh, yeah.
Go away. Go. Okay, go. Stay away from it.
Keep your fingers away.
No, men must put their finger in their mouth.
okay, I thought Roland was taking care of the lagoon.
Roland does the work on the lagoon. The city hasn't ever gotten anybody else to do reports. I spent some time with Tracy going over that process. I don't know if he's made progress finding somebody else to do those reports or not. But those are quarterly reports that are required, and if you don't get them done, the state has compliance processes they put you in, and you're in default.
You turned that over to you, you haven't made any progress on understanding it?
Not on finding somebody else to do it. He showed me how to do it.
All right. Motion to approve.
Second.
building committee. First, I'd like to say, what committee is this? Somebody, what?
Lyle, that's you, Lyle.
I didn't hear him, I didn't know.
What committee is this?
What's that?
What
committee is this?
Building committee.
The building committee.
What is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
The building committee.
What's it for?
It's to,
This building.
all right, what? You want me to give the report now, or is that somewhere on the agenda?
No, it's your turn.
It's your turn. Okay. That's what I wanted to know. You're not making things very clear, fella.
We should do something.
I have a copy here
This is what the insurance money
of,
is spent on.
for the council.
Historic
That's
register.
what we're doing.
This is what the insurance money is spent on.
Jackie knows what it is.
What?
Building committee.
I'm not on that committee.
But you know what it
This
is.
is what the money is spent on for the insurance. Insurance money, we do those copies of, our everybody there.
We were appointed about 2 years ago, this committee was formed. And, it's to preserve the architecture and vision of the building, to return the building to its original atmosphere, and to upgrade the wiring, the plumbing, the handicap accessibility, heat and air, kitchen facilities, to make the building safe, comfortable, and accessible for the city and surrounding community. We've been working on this for over 2 years, and our main objective was to apply for the National Registry. And we have done that, and we have been approved up to this point. It will go before the committee in October. I received an email from the coordinator in Topeka, and she said everything sounds good at this point, and it will be presented at that time. And when this is the final approval, we will have access to money to help restore the building, to spend the money on the building. It'll be a cost share type of a grant program is what we'll be applying for. And also, as far as the committee, what we talked about was to not consider the proposed lease by the American Legion until the city's attorney has checked and reviewed the application or the new contract. And we also like to recommend that the city not approve what the Legion wants to do to the building until we get further information and get this National Registry thing approved. Thank you.
Do you have documentation stating that it's been approved and put on the register? Do you have documentation stating that it's been approved and on the register?
I have documentation that has been, the application has been approved, and it will go before the council, before the committee in October.
Which is the federal part. It's already passed the state part.
That's what I'm asking, if you have documentation where it passed the state part.
I do have.
Have they inspected the building?
I'm not telling you something I didn't have. I'm not lying to you.
Well, these the people here always ask me for documentation anytime they have, bring something up, so I'm just following the procedure, okay?
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you.
I'm just telling you what I've been told, and I got an email, and that's what it said. If you don't like my word for it, that's tough.
I have not, but I take his word.
I would also like to say it's been going on for more than 2 years.
Yeah,
No, you're wrong.
What was that?
yes.
This has been going on for more
June of 1922.
It's been going on
2
for
years.
longer than that.
That's 2 years. That's when the council approved the committee or appointed a committee. 2 years ago.
2022.
Mr. Mayor, the commission, given how long it's been going on, do they have estimate of how much money we're gonna sink into this and what the cost share is? You know,
I think that's down at the bottom.
the cost share could be a sizable amount that this community could handle.
My opinion on this is, we have nothing in this city to offer anybody that would come to see this bank building. We have no restaurants, we have no motels, we have nothing whatsoever to try to recoup a little of the money that the city plans to spend on this building.
Well, Mayor, when you and I had this conversation, and I pointed out to you that there are towns in Kansas that people go to see for historical reasons, that do not have restaurants, don't even have residents.
Well, again, I would like to see that. But I, for one, am not in favor of trying to get this on the register.
Why are you not in favor to get it on the register?
Because I can see no benefit.
It's a
whatsoever
historical
to the
damn
city.
building.
I can see no benefit to the city whatsoever.
Okay.
That's the way I feel about the Legion paying $1 a year, and us carrying the burden of taxes, fuel, electricity, all of that. Liability, insurance.
Well, the council
That's 'cause you don't wanna see
the
the city
council
do good.
accepted the building. And therefore the liabilities that go with it.
So explain to me, what is a 501c?
501c is a tax exempt for organizations like American Legion, we're a 501c. We can accept tax deductible donations.
So is that the same 501c that you talked to me about?
Yes,
But you made it sound like it was a bad thing.
it is in a certain way, it is.
It is when you wanna make it that way. You're manipulating the facts. Yes, you are.
No.
Yes,
Yes,
you are.
Sarah. Sarah.
I was here to talk about match days, but I put a call in to Jamie Fiore Krebenko, who is the Kansas State Historical Society coordinator, who Lyle has been communicating with. And we had a very good conversation about the historical building. She said Lyle submitted an application. It wasn't quite complete. She has an intern this summer with an architectural degree who will be filling out the parts of the architectural portion. The application is not complete. The application will not be approved at the state level until the ad hoc committee meets October 5th. You have to have funds in place in order to fix up the building on a National Historic Building. I'll turn this way so I can be on camera and also so Lyle can hear me. So, there are a lot of grants out there to improve buildings. Jamie and I had a conversation. They're very competitive grants. You get points for each of your answers. On grants that I've worked with in Horton, you get certain points. One of the main points you would get that bumps you to the top of the list is to belong to an organization called Main Street America. Atchison belongs to Main Street America. They get lots of grants. Belleville, Kansas belongs to Main Street America, and they've revitalized their downtown. Main Street America costs about $4,000 a year to belong to, but you can be an affiliate for $400 a year. So, there is a grant that was due today. She sent it to me Thursday. I didn't have enough information, and when you fill out those grants, they take about a year to fill out. So, the funding is there. Some of the funds that were awarded were in this prior grant for $30,000, for $55,000. Most of the towns are like Belleville, Kansas, Atchison, Kansas, Wamego, Garden City, to give an example. She did send me the grant. I looked at it. It's called she said, this is one you might qualify for. Not a lot of people have bothered to fill out the application, which always tells me it's hard. Because when there's not a lot of applicants, it's a little harder to fill out. So I did print it. It's the Kansas Rural Preservation Grant Program. They reimburse 90% of your project costs up to $100,000. You have to have the match before you get the money. And your city has to have the money to pay the contractors, and the list of contractors must be approved. The city pays the money and waits from the state to be reimbursed. So just to make the math easy, because I not my favorite subject, we get a $100,000 grant. It's due July 1 of 2025. We would have time to work on it. You have to have a program administrator for that grant. Someone who has some teeth in the game with some degrees and expertise in writing previous grants. Horton has that person. His name is Garrett Nordstrom. He usually takes 40% of the grant to administer the grants. Those are CDBG grants. We would probably not qualify for a CDBG grant because we don't have the funds to pay someone like Garrett. You have to have a 501c3 to hold that money that is matched for your $100,000 grant. You have to specifically state what you want to do to fix up. Maybe you want to do the tuck pointing. Is that where you want to start? The floors, the electrical. I did clarify with her, if you want to restore the building to 1910 status, what's that do for electricity or wiring and all of that? Or do our toilets? I mean, if you look at a National Historic Preservation building, they're all from that time period. And she said, we realize you don't have to do 100 years ago electrical or that. You can make that current. So your electricity can be current, your heating and cooling can be current, but anything else, fixtures, faucets, toilets, basins, refrigeration, need to be from that time period. And forevermore, on the backs of every citizen, future generations, if you want to do something to this building, you have to apply to the Federal National Preservation Project to ask permission to do anything to your building. Now, we have in the Powhattan Beautification and Improvement Fund $3,800, which I reported last month because I like everybody to know who's giving, how much you have, and where it's been. I love transparency. We're already starting match days for this month, and I've sent out flyers, and we've received so far $1,700. Alumni, local farmers. So you need about $6,000 more. If you got the grant in 2025, you would have until 2026 to finish it. Now, I don't know if you've built anything lately, but contractors are a little hard to come by, and they need to get done in a year. That's where we stand. You could, however, if the Legion wanted to fix up the building, they are also a 501c3. They are holding for that kind of funding, and they could fix it up. And because they're not a city, you don't have to go searching for bids within a certain dollar amount, and we wouldn't have to, being a separate organization, rely on people not wanting to pay for your bid bill that you're required to publish. And so that could be taken care of with an outside entity. So I appreciate the efforts on the committee. I have a copy of the grant application because, like I said, when you work with these Kansas grants, Belleville has an administrator who writes the grants. Atchison has an administrator who writes the grants. They're competitive, and it's a wonderful thing. And if your committee wants to continue working on it, I'm going to pass the grant information off. But it has to be vetted and very closely monitored by the state, every step. And it's a wonderful thing for transparency, and if you have someone who's on time, full paid staff employee to kind of keep on top of that, I think that would really work well for the city. So it's just whoever you want to hand that off to. But here's the, I was kind of stumped on the first question, name of legal property owner, because of last month's meeting, I was really unclear on, but Dwayne helped me out on that, but it's several pages. I'll give it to you to pass off to your committee, to consider as a town what you want to do with that. I hope I clarified that some. We did put out our letter that we are helping with the playground equipment, and we're grateful for our volunteers, and that some of the funds could additionally be in discussion with helping the American Legion to assist with the repairs for their buildings. So that is in there, and our match monies are matched at 50%, and they don't have to be spent immediately. So if the city had voted to go through with the historic preservation, and you could tap into the Legion or the Powhattan beautification as the holding, and you have documentation that you submit for that, but that it's kind of in the city's, it's in your hands. But I think you have a whole group of people who would like to see the building maintained, but they also probably want to see a plan for longevity, because you don't want your grandchildren sitting at this table with very few people in town looking like Willis, coming up with $100,000 that there's no infrastructure to tax or support on that. So just something to think ahead of time. It's a beautiful building. Everybody loves this building. We all have memories of this building. Horton's class reunion was held in this building one year, so we have personal connections as well. So I don't think the issue is destroying the building. I think the issue is how do we save the building, and maybe that we have a lot of people here wanting to put forth the money. Maybe we need to not look at getting free money from the state, because there's always strings attached to that kind of money. So that was just what I said that kind of segued with Lyle. But Jamie did say she does have an intern working on that. The application has been submitted. I don't know, once you start the ball rolling on that, if they've come out and looked at the building or had a community meeting to get everybody on the same page. I don't know about that, but there's your grant application, and here is funding if you want to donate to the Powhattan Beautification Fund. So there you go.
You notified the committee or me about this.
I didn't know there was a committee.
Yes, you did.
Dwayne let me know that who I needed to talk to match
No,
money.
you knew when you were on, when Leroy was in control of the parks and buildings. You knew there was a committee.
She didn't take notice then.
I didn't come to any meeting except council meetings.
But you knew there was a committee that Leroy was in charge of.
Just from being sitting around. But like I said, she didn't take notice.
I will answer Lyle's question. I've been coming to every meeting for the past 2 years, since June of 2022, when we opened the beautification fund. There was never a discussion of the historic preservation at that time. In 2019, when I was running my food truck, you talked about it at the food truck the summer of 2019. I've never heard about it in a formal city meeting. And I didn't know anything other
You
than that.
attended every meeting in that 2-year period?
Oh, we'll get down in the weeds about that. I've attended most of them.
You were here in June of 22. The committee was appointed at that time.
Is that in the minutes,
Was what in the minutes?
the appointing of the committee?
It should have been.
Yeah.
I know it should have been,
I have to go back, and look, I think it was. I have to find the minutes.
What month was that? He said June.
June.
June of
Whether or not it would
22.
be in June, well, I guess it would be June's minutes.
June 22.
Okay, all right.
It'd be in May or June.
So, Sarah, you're saying that if the Legion wanted to go ahead and fix this place up to where it would be usable for dances meetings and stuff like that, it wouldn't qualify then for the historical?
That would be an answer your committee comes up with. I just was talking about the logistics of that one preservation grant. I guess my concern is, have you researched the pros and cons of being a national, I mean, the pro is you get money, but it's not free money. It's really your money. You have to have $100,000 to get a $100,000 grant and then being reimbursed. So if you already had $100,000 in hand to fix up the money, to fix up the building, why would you let the state get involved to reimburse you for that? And then, I don't know if anyone's ever had a great experience with government programs, but there seems to be a lot of, you really would need a city lawyer and a city administrator to get onto those things, for those projects. Or maybe your committee's but if you have a committee doing that, and then you're paying someone on the committee $500 a month to do it, then there's money there again, going one way. I mean, I think you need to tighten up what's going on with your committee.
So what we need to do then is to get someone to come down here and inspect the premises and give us an estimate of what it would cost to bring that thing up to the state's requirements.
Jamie's already been here and took pictures.
Jamie's got everything already.
She took pictures of that, and haven't said she gave you an estimate of what it's gonna cost. That's what I'm saying, we're gonna have to hire a specialist, then, come down here and figure out what it's gonna cost to bring this.
So did Jamie give an estimate of what it was gonna cost when Jamie came down to view and take pictures? Did she give you an estimate of how much it was going to cost?
When I'm speaking, Sandy, we will not.
I apologize.
You don't be rude.
That's right, tell her that, I was speaking.
Okay, well, she was asking a question to clarify.
That's all
your
right,
answer.
she could've waited till I was done.
Please try to get along.
Yes,
Not with him.
here's the troublemaker right there.
He looks,
All right,
yeah, it's me, Harry.
Ray, you can leave.
I don't have to
Raising
leave.
water
I'm on the
rates.
council.
Raising water
Okay, then you
rates.
don't need to watch your language, because I heard it clear over ears.
I said, I don't need to leave, thank you, I'm on the council.
No, I said your language.
There you go,
That was
Mr.
just not acceptable.
That's all right, I got you.
We need to move on.
Yes. Immediately. Because I will be filing complaints with the Attorney General.
There's trouble
Are
right
we
there.
comfortable with these water rate things?
I'm sick of it.
You can resign from the council.
I don't have to.
Yeah. You're sick of it, you won't have anything to do with it.
That's fine, I'll still be here every meeting, I'm still on the council.
Yeah, you are, you're headed to it. Okay, raising of the water rates. You want
No, that is pre-transfer over, and the meeting is unofficed.
Okay, gotcha.
can we stay with the agenda here? Raising the water rates, is you gonna present that?
I can. Do you want me to read over everything?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2024-1, water and sewer rates. An ordinance amending the water and sewer rates of the city of Powhattan, Kansas, for users inside city limits and outside city limits, and repealing any section of the city code in conflict with the ordinance. Be it ordained by the governing body of Powhattan, Kansas, that the following section of the code of the city of Powhattan, Kansas be amended to read as follows. Section 1, amendments. Section 1, the within the city limits and outside the city limits be amended to read as follows. Domestic water rates minimum $20 for the first 1,000 gallons. The rate per additional 100 gallons is 90 cents per gallon. Pump house rate to be 90 cents per 100 gallons. Domestic sewer rate $12. Individualized agreement may be made for businesses. Kickapoo Nation School sewer rate would be $312. Deposits of $75, which will be returned if on-time payments are made after last bill is paid. $25 to turn on. Water and sewer bills are due by the 10th of each month. After the 10th, a $10 late fee will be applied. If not paid by the 20th of each month, water will be shut off at a fee of $25 to turn back on. Section 2, repealing of any conflicting ordinances. All former ordinances and parts thereof